So nice to meet you. Yeah. Of course, I know. But anyway, so I'm going to be seeing his wife Sunday. So we're actually quite good friends.
Rosemary, a small pot would be good so you can have it right
now.
now.
I've actually been in your home. Remember the last international picnic that you hosted at your home? I was there. That was such a treat. Thank you so much for that. That was fantastic. I'll let Gina go shake with us.
Sort of on the community trust side, which is where I want to spend one of the things that do most of our work in-house. Where are you? No. I'm at
We are so pleased to see so many of you here. We're privileged to have Bob, Joan, and Rosemary LaParco here, have Homer Livingston and Marge here, have Art Mazzolo and Karen here. And I know there's a number of you here that have been new and have not been here before. And yet, this is a fantastic gathering. Again, a commitment from all of us to each other of the First National Bank of Chicago family. Thank you for being here. thank you all for responding to my emails. I tell you, of the 250 emails I send out, I probably get back about 75% responses, yes or no, which is fantastic. You can't do a survey with getting everything. And yet, so many of you, and many of those that aren't here, are saying, please give my greetings to everybody. Well, if you look through the email I send out, there's a lot of people that are traveling in the world. Some of them have family matters, emergency matters, funerals. Some of them have remodeling, whatever reasons they can't make it, but they would if they could. And yet, I want to let you know now, some of you do not know that one of our very, very dear friends, Wolf Worley. How many of you remember Wolfgang Worley?
Oh, yeah.
So I see almost 75% of us know him. Those who don't, Wolf used to work in our bank in the International Department. He was one of our loyal employees for 40 years. And Wolf died on March 28th this year. He lived with his daughter, Anneliese, in Switzerland. Then he went to what he called old people's home. And then he passed away. Now, miraculously, Wolf was divorced for over 25 years. Here he comes from the U.S. to Anneliese, lives now in Switzerland, goes to a retirement facility, and who should he meet but his former wife, Jean Worley, who also happens to be admitted to the same facility. Wolf was in frequent communication with me. I kept telling him email addresses of many of you. Sometimes he did or didn't respond to you or correspond with you, but he felt very much more in touch with many of you since he was in Switzerland and on the email system. Yet, he did say to me that he and Jean reconciled while he was there. I think that's fantastic. That's wonderful. So what I'd like to do just now, before we start our food, have a moment of silence for our dear friend and colleague, Wolf Worley, many of which we know. I want you to know, I have a card which Anneliese sent to me. I'll send it around showing Wolf's picture, his baptism picture in the front, and then inside, when he became assistant vice president of our bank, and when we all had the officers' directory sent to us yet, and the time we did it, that'll be Wolf's picture. Some of you may remember him that. But truly, I have to say, he and I were like brothers because we started in the International Banking Department as, quote, auditors' representatives. Bob will know that very well. At the time we were sent overseas, it was 1966, the controller of the currency requested that every branch in the future system after London branch have a control department, an audit department representative there somehow, so that we can control our expansion. And then we've expanded to 70 installations before Ireland, right, Bob? Something like that. And so, truly, Wolf was part of the nucleus of the expansion of the whole bank. That's how we got to know one another. So with that, I'd like you to just say, enjoy your food. I would expect right now, it'll probably cost $20 per person by the time I get the bill, based on the attendance I see. And that means before you leave, appoint a table captain who will collect $20 from every one of you and then give it to me. Then I go home and I count and I hope I'm right. But truly, it's a pleasure. Enjoy your meal. I hope you enjoy what I've selected. Looks like I've got competition. Thank you.
want to thank Horst for doing this for so many years and keeping us all in
I'm really honored that Bob was able to join us today because a couple days ago his back gave him tremendous problems. Not only did Bob come, but Joan and Rosemarie were able to come too. But to have him here is a true honor for all of us. So thank you, Bob.
I'm really in awe of being here with all of you. And just wanted to second what said about Horst. God bless you, Horst. I mean, you have communicated with all of us over the years, and you maintained all of the contacts and arranged for all of these luncheons and put up with all the emails. You know, as I sit here and look around, there are so many memories that come out. I remember, well, just the ridiculous stories. I remember when Homer was in Singapore and Art in Italy. And I remember when he called up and he said we had a robbery in our bank on the Tiber River, and these Italians, apparently robbers, and you correct me if I'm wrong, they dug into the bank and got into the basement, and there was the vault in front of them. And they were so happy to be there, they spread out a blanket and they put down food. The alarm had gone off in the police department. But in Italy, you know, they said, happens all the time. But then a new shift came on and they said, we ought to go out and check it out. And so they came with the sirens, and they heard the sirens, and the robbers left their tools and the food and everything else before they got into the vault. Well, that's just one incident. You know, we can go on and on and on. But one thing that I would like to say, and really thanks to all of you, what you've done is really beyond admiration when you built this operation. We did not have tons of procedures and manuals and books. We had 3 lines across the Atlantic for telephones and none across the Pacific. And you had to make an appointment to get 5 minutes of time on a phone, which you might have to do at midnight or what have you. So when all of you went out, right, absolutely. So when you went out, what you carried with you was the tradition of an institution where there had been footprints from 1863. And a lot of people had built the bank and had created a tradition, and none of you wanted to have any damage or dishonor to that tradition. And so we never had a problem. We never had a problem. And as Horst indicated, we had this wonderful system we called the traveling auditors, and they would go around to each one, and when the auditors came, it wasn't adversarial. They were all brothers, they were all friends. You sat, there were arguments, there were disagreements. I was party to some of them, but you built it. And it's just wonderful for Rosemarie and Joan and I to be here with you all. And thank you.
Remember Bill Clorifin?
That's gonna be tricky.
Which side is your good side?
Anywhere above, not the gut. That's gonna be tricky.
Which side is your good side?
Anywhere above.